I always say two biggest things I do as the CEO and founder. I protect the franchisee from the franchisee, and I minimize risk. Those are the two things that I do every day.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Kim Daly TV. Today we have another special guest. He is the founder and CEO of Wave Max Laundry. Please welcome to Kim Daly TV a big welcome to Mike Roberts.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. Great introduction.
I am so happy to have you here today. So, out here in the big bad world of franchising, people will often ask me, so Kim, why do you need a franchise for a really simple business, right? If I present a company and they say, well, couldn't I just go do that on my own? And I think a laundromat is one of those. But you know that I've had a great success placing some amazing people into your franchise. It's one of my favorite companies to lead people to for sure. So let's start the conversation by talking a little bit about that value proposition. Even in a seemingly simple business, where's the value in the partnership with the franchisor?
Sure, that's a great question. We get that a lot. And everyone thinks, oh, laundromat, pretty piece of cake. But as soon as you step across that threshold and start looking at the overall business, it becomes very complicated and very overwhelming. I was there when I opened my first laundromat back in 2013. So it seems simple, but the industry was built by distributors who sell equipment. That's what they do. They make money selling equipment. So the bigger the store, the more equipment, the more money they make, and then they're gone, right? So, and that almost happened to me as I was investigating and trying to figure it out. Yeah, laundromat, pretty simple. I had guys sliding deals across the table, just sign here, and we've got everything taken care of, the rent and the equipment mix and this and that. And I didn't trust it. And it took me a long time to really vet the industry, find out what was going on, figure out who I can trust, who I can't trust, who's lying to me, who's not lying to me. And then when you get into things like site selection, well, where do I put it? It sounds easy, but there's certain demographics, very specific demographics we look for. And there's very specific size of stores based upon those demographics that we look for. And then there's a very specific equipment mix that we analyze based on those demographics, based on the location of the store. And if you don't understand that, you can literally make a mistake that costs you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so what we do for the franchisee is we are there to guide them to, like I always say, two biggest things I do as the CEO and founder for everybody in the brand is I protect the franchisee from the franchisee, and I minimize risk. Those are the two things that I do every day, okay? So many times I have a franchisee that says, I've got the perfect location for a laundromat. Okay, we analyze it, we look at it, we run demos, we look at traffic counts, we look at everything, competition, et cetera, and we go, whoa, time out. Not only would I not put a laundromat there, I may not even be in that area of town. So yes, it seems simple, but if we can get you into the right amount of paying for rent and the right equipment note, and we call it that pro forma, and make sure we're checking all of those proper boxes to set you up for success. Listen, I've got a motto in my company. Everybody makes money. I want my franchisees making money. I want my employees making money. I want the brokers. I want people like you, Kim, making money and wanting to sell the brand. And obviously, corporate's got to make money. So everybody's got to make money. And if we can all do that and everybody's happy, then the brand grows. And we get referrals and we bring more people into the brand. So that in a nutshell is what we offer to a franchisee. Yes, it seems simple, but when you're talking about 10-year leases and you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on an equipment package that has to be financed, if those things are not done properly, you can make a devastating mistake financially.
So you're saying that before there was a franchise for a laundromat, there are these distributors who are in it to sell equipment.
They're still there, by the way. I didn't mean to cut you off. They're still there. That's who we deal. That's who the industry is. Correct. But go ahead. Yes.
So I'm going to go out and open my own laundromat. And so if I put too much equipment in my laundromat, that's like a sunk cost to me, right? If I can't keep all those washers and dryers like going, then
Correct.
I'm not maximizing my ROI. What happens on the flip side though, if I go in and I put not enough equipment in, is that also a problem because people have to wait too long? They're not going to come back?
It could be, but trust me when I tell you, the industry's never
No,
done that.
distributors like
Okay.
little
They
equipment.
they have not done that. We build our stores for Monday through Sunday in efficiency and maximizing throughput with special programs and different things. The industry has built stores typically just for Sunday, if that makes sense. So they build these gigantic stores that have massive debt, and then the biggest day of the week is Sunday, and then Monday through Saturday they don't have many customers, and they get way out over their skis on their payments, and they're struggling to make money. And here's what happens if the store doesn't make
Nobody
it.
wants to get way out over their skis, by the way, as a skier.
Yeah, yeah. But what happens then is if that investor doesn't make it, great. You know who's there to buy those assets and resell it again to the next investor? The distributor.
So they're not in it for you, they're in it for them because they make money when they move equipment. Yep. So therein lies the value of your learning curve, your experience, your support. So
Correct.
even in the simplest of businesses, there can almost always be a case made for a franchise system where somebody has gone out there and proven the path. They've walked the path and they've figured out what works, and they're giving you that for that price of admission, which is that franchise fee. And then beyond that, there's the royalty back to the franchisor, but that's for that ongoing support. Okay, so after my laundromat is open, let's talk a little bit about, I mean, is it plug and play? I mean, your owners are pretty semi absentee to absent. So what's happening in terms of support once my laundromat is open?
So we internally we have a staff that works for WaveMax Corporate, and we actively test all of our marketing. We have a marketing firm that does very specific type of campaigns that the franchisees can utilize. And I don't want to get into the specifics, but to give you an example, 80% of the industry is what we call zombie mats. Okay, they're owned by mom and pops, and a lot of them, if you Google, they don't even show up on Google. Let alone maybe if they do, maybe they have a Facebook page. We don't know. We have now developed a marketing program that we layer in on top of the store operators operating the store. Now you can be active and participate, or you can have the marketing firm completely handle it and take care of it for you. And we have extremely targeted marketing. We go after the competition like nobody else has gone after, because most mom and pops don't have the sophistication. They also don't have the financial resources and the backing that corporate has to assist with those ongoing marketing efforts. So, in addition, we always make the case, you save the money and the royalty upfront just by what we can help you in saving and building the store and monthly rent and equipment note. That right there more than pays for the royalty. But the icing on the cake is all of that extra marketing effort and sharing best practices with other laundromat owners. So you do get all of that extra when you are paying the royalties.
Yeah, because even in a simple business, guys, do you hearing this? Like, it's still a business. There's still a marketing campaign, right? You don't want to be a
Right.
zombie mat. You want to be a laundromat. And I mean, I can say these WaveMax laundry mats are gorgeous, right? They're what you would expect in 2021. They're clean, they're brightly lit, there's an attendant on duty, so it's safe. You know, as a single girl, I don't want to walk into the laundromat and feel like I'm not safe, right? So, I mean, I've definitely helped my fair share of people.
We call that we call that the Nana test. Would you drop your Nana off there to do laundry?
That's right,
So
right.
The vast majority don't pass the NANA test. So
There's all these, so there's so much more that goes into it than what somebody would see or think about, like right off the top of their head. So you brought up one other good point. I've had some candidates ask about, like, who is the customer today using a laundromat?
sure.
Like, really? Are laundromats still even viable? So talk to that a little bit.
And that, you know what, that's a great question. So we find our customers really are across the spectrum. Really, we have millennials that just want to get in, get out. We have older couples that utilize it. It really runs the gamut. I mean, again, your washers and dryers at home. It's funny because I literally today dropped my personal laundry off at my store to have it done by the attendant because I didn't want to be sitting here doing 2 and 3 loads at my house and doing all of that. So I dropped it off because she can throw everything in an 80-pound machine, get it done, folded. So we got a lot of people that value time. They want to just come in. You can do at WaveMax, we have programs for the washers where you can do a 20-minute wash. Our dryers are about 20 minutes. You can literally get 80 pounds in one washer, 20-minute wash, 20-minute dry. You can stay and fold it at the store or take it home with you. So people use it because they want to be able to just get it done, that chore. We also have drop-off service. So if you don't want to do your laundry, you can drop it off. We weigh it, we wash it, we dry it, we fold it. So it's funny. What we're finding is our customer base is not necessarily the called lower income. It runs the gamut. It really does, and people value it for different reasons.
Before we wrap this up, let's just speak a little bit to 2020 and the growth that you saw in your company last year and into this year. Talk a little bit about that.
So this year, well, I can tell you exactly where we are right now. So the brand we have sold over 100, the rights to over 140 sites. We currently have 29 sites open. We plan on opening another 11 by the end of the year. And next year we have on board to open about 30 new sites next year. So we're growing rapidly. In fact, we just signed a franchisee yesterday in Texas, came on board. So we're growing rapidly. We've only been doing this now about 4.5 years, and we are now the largest laundromat franchise in the United States, which is great. And we appreciate we appreciate Kim and your team. We love partnering with great people.
And I just added a new franchisee to your mix. I think it was on Monday or last Friday. Yeah, up in Seattle.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So I love WaveMax. Guys, for those of you who are out there watching this video and you're interested in the laundromat business, if you are a real estate investor, I'm finding real magic between the real estate investing mindset and the laundromat, the WaveMax Laundry franchise. I would absolutely love to talk to you about that. But even if you're a W-2 employee and you're inspired by the idea of this really simple concept that would allow you to keep your job while you ramp up the business, I want to be your daily coach. What I'm going to ask you to do is leave a comment below, or you can email me, kim@thedailycoach.com. Give me the opportunity to get you financially pre-qualified, to double check on the territory to make sure that where you live is viable and open. And then I'll send you back to Mike Roberts' team so they can begin teaching you about the WaveMax Laundry franchise. How does that sound, Mike?
That's great. I love it. Look forward to it.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, thank you so much for being my special guest today here on Kim Daily TV. I know you're a busy guy because I keep you busy with all those leads. And guys, listeners, this is the franchisor who gets on the airplane and flies out to the territory. My people in Utah, when they ever told me that he flew to help them secure the right location, I mean, I already knew he was amazing, but then I was like, that's an up top pork chop moment.
I do it on every store. I do it for every location. I'll be going next week and the week after, and it's just something that I wouldn't even think not to do that, I guess, but that's what we do.
You guys, you heard it right here on Kim Daily TV. If I can help you find your way to the WaveMax Laundry franchise, please leave a comment below or reach directly out. Until next time, my name is Kim Daily, and I want to be your daily coach.